Hello, and thank you so much for joining the Community Ledger. I did a video last night. I labeled it part one of this Kamala comeback. But I had to get on here and do an episode two because last night, Miss Kamala decided to do a video speaking to her supporters. And y'all, it is a hot ass mess. I don't know if she's been on vacation having one too many mimosas, but she could not get it together. She could not sober up, and she is looking crazy. But I'm not even going to waste any time talking. I'm going to let you just go ahead and take a look at it. So let's jump right in.
Turn out like we wanted it to. Certainly not as we planned for it to. But understand that the work we put into it was about empowering people. That's the spirit with the work we did.
After her brief escape to Hawaii after her election loss, Vice President Kamala Harris emerging with a message to the Democratic Party.
This video, shared by the party's official X account, features Harris speaking directly to followers discouraged by the recent election. Harris addressing her defeat to the vice president for the first time since her concession speech. So with that, we'll bring in Aaron Evans with Winning Republican Strategies. Terry Schilling is the president of the American Principles Project. Aaron, starting with you, why make this video?
That's a phenomenal question. I mean, ultimately, I think the video is very reminiscent of multiple speeches during her candidacy, where it's even the coherency of what she's trying to say is kind of in question. But, ultimately, look, I think you've got this video. You've also got, the clip where Walz is talking about how troubling and dangerous it is that President Trump won. And, just continuing to double down on some of the same failed, non-message and rhetoric that ultimately cost both of them their election. And it's time to move on and be problem solvers instead of whiners.
A lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on. Let's listen to another clip. This one is Harris talking about retaining power.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same.
What is she smoking? Like, what has she been drinking? Yo. I mean, the slurred speech, the bobblehead reaction, like, what is going on here?
Wow. Purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
So, Terry, the audience for this is the DNC. They didn't have a primary. They had some power to do things a little bit differently. That was kind of my first reaction when she said that. What are your thoughts?
It's all just coping, right? I've had these conversations with my friends after rough weeks and rough days, after we've had several beers, and we sound exactly the same. But this is all just coping, because what happened is the Democrats were not an incompetent bunch. They had so much power. They control most of America's elite institutions. Kamala Harris was not incompetent. She raised over $1 billion for her campaign. That's double what Hillary Clinton raised. Unfortunately, what they're unable to do is to cope with the fact that their policy proposals are so radical and so unpopular with the American people. They have to do videos like this. It's really embarrassing, and someone around her that's close to her should pull her off of the camera like this.
Do you hear that? He says someone close to her should pull her off the camera. Like, this is embarrassing. Oh my God. I have another video. Bear with me.
Well, Vice President Kamala Harris has been laying low since her loss in the presidential race. The vice president spending time in Hawaii before heading back to Washington.
But there's some rumors underway about what might be her next move. According to Politico, privately, the vice president has been instructing advisors and allies to keep her options open. That could be a possible 2028 presidential run or even a run for governor in her home state of California in 2 years. Harris has reportedly repeating in phone calls, quote, "I'm staying in the fight." Let's talk about it now with our political panelists. Theron Bond joins us now, a Democratic strategist, and Luke Ball is a Republican strategist. So 2 different perspectives here. Welcome to you both. Theron, we'll start with you. Is this a good idea for VP Harris to continue her political ambitions?
Not to run for president again in 2028. Please don't. I can't really speak for governor of California. Californians seem to support her significantly. We haven't yet been able to measure what that support looks like after this current run she just had. That may be the only thing that she, I guess, may make sense for her to consider. But another shot at the presidency, I hope she doesn't. And if she is relying on those same advisors that advised her this cycle, that's not who I would listen to.
Luke, I mean, she lost in a landslide to Trump in this election. If she runs for governor of California, can she win that race?
Well, I think she might have a hand up in California because I think that's one of the only states where she might actually have an edge. She'd have high name ID. But if she ran anywhere else in the country, I don't think she'd be able to get elected to dog catcher, unfortunately, because if I'm a donor, if I'm a Democrat, I'm looking at this race and I'm looking at the aftermath as we start to go through the autopsy of the campaign. And I'm seeing that we're paying millions of dollars to celebrities to astroturf the campaign instead of spending that money on critical resources, even like the DNC. If I'm on that side of the political aisle, I'm wondering why can't we give that to staff members as opposed to sending it to celebrities, paying $5,000 for having their nails done. Like the RNC went through this just over a year ago and we cleaned house ahead of the election. And I think that if I'm a Democrat strategist and I'm operating within the DNC, I'm having the same thought process. We have to have a come to Jesus meeting and figure out, number one, who the heck is the leader of our party? Number two, what sort of drastic changes are we going to make to position ourselves to come up in this next upcoming midterm election and start to change the direction of the country from our perspective? So I don't think Kamala Harris is going to have a shot at a national campaign anymore. Maybe she'd be able to find a home in California, but I think her national political spotlight is fading.
Well, speaking of those DNC staffers, apparently they're not so happy because now they no longer have a job, some facing layoffs, no severance pay, and there's a GoFundMe that has been set up. It reads in part, last week, 2/3 of the DNC staff was laid off with little notice and no severance. We're heartbroken to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours to electing Democrats up and down the ballot depart under these circumstances, furious with DNC leadership for failing to provide severance to those affected. As of now, of their $25,000 goal, they've raised $16,000. Theron, will you be donating to this campaign? I mean, should we be feeling sorry for these staffers whose candidate lost an election and are no longer getting paid?
You know, there's pros and cons to that because we don't have a clear picture of exactly what they knew going into it. We don't know what they were promised or what terms they agreed to. So if there were terms that they agreed to that have not been met, then yes, it makes sense to donate to that. But if that was not the case, and if they were some of those people that were advising and making decisions that led to this significant loss, then we have to reevaluate the entire DNC structure and what affinity those staffers have to the people versus the party itself. And when those people will be bold enough to say, you know what, something's not going right and be heard. But as we hear more and more stories leaking out about what being a staffer was like, there were a lot of maybe lower level staffers that weren't listened to when they tried to stop this disaster of a train that was going. And so it's sad to see anybody that needs a GoFundMe, but we'd have to really know what those terms were that they agreed to, and if they were in fact met and they're just unhappy, or if they weren't met and they're being hanging left to dry.
So there you have it. You have people from the DNC describing, I can't even say describing, asking, literally saying, please do not run again. Literally, a Democratic political strategist is on a national platform saying, please, Kamala, do not run again. I mean, the gravity of that. And the other gentleman, he says, I don't think she could get elected to be a dog catcher, let alone the president of the United States. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? All you Kamala Harris supporters out there. Now, You guys were going crazy. You were bashing everybody for supporting anybody that wasn't Kamala. And now she skipped off to Hawaii. She can't account for $1.5 billion. Her staff hasn't been paid. And she does this video half drunk, trying to instill inspiration, saying she's still in the fight. She's still going, still have confidence in her. I mean, talk about delusional. I mean, can you have a candidate any more unqualified for the role? I mean, and I think I've said it on at least 5 videos now. We dodged a bullet. This is insane. And now look, I have found the GoFundMe. I just found this out minutes ago. DNC Staff Union Layoff Relief Fund. Support the DNC Staff Union Layoff Relief Fund. This is ridiculous. Last week, 2/3 of DNC staff was laid off with little notice and no severance. We are heartbroken to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours to electing Democrats up and down the ballot depart under these circumstances. And we are furious with DNC leadership for failing to provide severance to those affected. As such, we are creating a relief fund which will directly aid staff members, including single parents and workers expecting children impacted by the recent layoffs. Now, we're already dealing with high prices. We're already dealing with the same inflation and the same economy in terms of these crazy high prices. And the money we got coming in is, we stretching it as far as we can. These people believed in Kamala, believed in the Democratic Party, organized and worked and dedicated their time to fighting for this candidate, campaigning and door knocking and doing everything necessary to try to get this candidate elected. And now they can't even get paid. They can't even pay their own bills. Okay. And, I heard a podcaster say, Kamala didn't do well in these interviews because the interviewers were asking dumb questions. And I'm like, how is asking a candidate for the presidency what she plans to do for the economy a dumb question? Like, how is what you plan on doing for the border a dumb question? So they're doing all this gaslighting and scapegoating and not taking accountability. She could not answer questions. Okay. She did not have a plan. I heard all these Kamala Harris supporters say, oh, Trump doesn't have a plan. This man has already got his cabinet taken care of. He's already sent Tom Homan over to the border yesterday to get this border in control. Like, this man is getting everything in order. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. Here this woman is. She had all this time, made all this money. I mean, more money was raised for her candidacy than any other presidential candidate in history, in modern history. So she loses. Okay, now let's not forget the day of the election, she didn't even come out and address her supporters. They were all standing out there outside of Howard University waiting for her. And once they obviously realized she wasn't going to lose she wasn't going to win the presidency, she didn't even come out. She sent a staffer to come out and say, you might as well go home. We'll talk about it in the morning. Where are you? Where is she? Just no class. No sportsmanship. Come on. So then she comes out the next day, later on in the day and makes this statement. Then she flies off to Hawaii, and she's been in Hawaii ever since. While she's in Hawaii, we come to find out that we've got tons of money. I know she spent tons of money on all these celebrities. She spent like $900,000 to put her face on the Las Vegas Sphere. She paid 6 figures, over $100,000 for that Call Her Daddy podcast set. They're talking about $5,000 to get her nails done. Now, I'm hoping that was the whole staff, but at the same time, an incredible waste of money. So now you got all this money missing, and she's in Hawaii living it up, and then comes and addresses the public with this drunk inspiration speech. I don't know what this was. And the crazy part is that she's talking about she's going to keep going. She's going to keep fighting. Fighting for what? Like, clearly you do not care about Americans. You do not care about the border. You don't care about the economy. You don't even care about your own staff. Okay. You didn't even care about your own supporters. Her only desire is to live it up, is to just get that position, make that money. I mean, this campaign was clearly a cash cow. She was living her best life. Okay. Paying thousands of dollars for nails, build a set because I don't feel like going to California, get all these celebrities to praise me, endorse me. Then I, whisk off to Hawaii, live my best life. Nobody, everybody, GoFundMe. When have we ever seen staff members requesting money via a GoFundMe page? That is deplorable. And this woman was this close to being the president of the United States. She was that close to being able to control the deficit, manage the economy. Was a real decision maker. Like, clearly she's a horrible leader. Horrible. I don't even have words. And I kept saying the entire election season, I was like, what do people see in this woman? How is it that I can see that this woman is grossly incompetent and could give a damn about all of us? But you have millions and millions of people that are like, Kamala, she's so amazing. She's so amazing. Even my sister-in-law, we had a huge blowout on the telephone because she's like, I think Kamala's a good person. I'm a good judge of character, and I really think she cares about us. And I was like, that's really concerning to me because that means you were not gifted with the gift of discernment. Like, that is a problem for me because this woman is crazy. This woman is psycho. This woman is incompetent. She don't care about nobody but herself. What are you seeing? Like, give it to me. What are you seeing? And she's like, I'm like, please, give me something. Tell me about this candidate. What do you love about her? Oh, well, her role as a district attorney in California. Okay, so what did you like about that role? Well, Trump. Well, no, sweetheart. I didn't ask you about Trump. I asked you about her role as a district attorney, and you can't give me nothing. And that was a perpetual thing with every supporter. They can't give you nothing. All they can say is Trump bad, he did this, he did that. But that's not a reason to let this craziness into the White House. This woman is crazy. And I mean, it's alleged, based on what we just saw, she might have an alcohol problem. She might have a substance abuse problem. Again, allegedly. However, that video was crazy. And they're talking about, oh my goodness, should she have gone on Rogan? Should she have not? There's no way she could have gone on Rogan. Whether she went on Rogan or not, she would have lost, period. Crazy incompetent. However, she didn't go on Rogan because they knew it would be a disaster. She couldn't answer any questions. She can't be on the spot. She just doesn't have it. She doesn't have it, and she never did. How was it that I was able to see this during the initial primary when she got dragged by Tulsi Gabbard, but nobody else could see it? Like, millions and millions of people voted for this woman, and it's insane. And now you have all these Democrats coming out and say, well, truth be told, we really weren't a fan of her. We wanted a primary, but blah, blah, blah. No. You don't get to do that because you chose her, okay? You wanted to say Trump was a threat to democracy, but you installed this crazy woman who was incredibly incompetent and told everybody she was the best thing walking, and you knew damn well she was not able to hold that position. And thank God, enough people in this country had enough sense, had enough sense to see the writing on the wall and see that this woman was not able to hold that position, was not worthy, and was not, there was nothing about her. And I'm just glad. I'm glad that all of this is coming out because all the people who have been dragged for not supporting her are now vindicated. Okay? $1.5 billion missing. Your staff got a GoFundMe page. All these Democrats saying they never wanted you in the first damn place. And she's still talking about running. She's talking about maybe a governor for California, maybe 2028. Her own party is saying, girl, please stop. Don't. No, please don't. I personally don't. advise her to do anything politically. I think she just needs to take whatever little coins she got left. I don't know what happened to all that campaign money, but if she got some of it stashed somewhere, she needs to just go sail off into the sunset. Her career needs to be over. Not only is she a horrible candidate, I don't believe that she's a good person. This to me is evidence of that. She's obviously not a good leader. And Miss Kamala Harris needs to just be removed completely from the political spectrum. And so, oh my goodness, like I said, I did a video yesterday. I had to get back on here so that you could see this sloppy, crazy video that she did that was supposed to motivate and inspire, and just embarrassed, okay? Embarrassed herself, embarrassed those who actually supported her, because this is not a good look. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. So again, thank you so much for joining me. If you have not, please do subscribe. This is the Community Ledger.